A critical component of ensuring that Guyana continues along the path of forest conservation in keeping with the implementation of the country's commitments to COP21 is to support the strengthening of Indigenous peoples' participation with regards to the forestry sector and its development. But land titling for the Indigenous folks is not the only thing that government can do. That's the word of head of the GFC's Planning and Development Unit, Pradeepa Bolanat.
There are many areas within the state forest that are within geographic proximity of Indigenous people's territories that might not be titled either as yet or at some point in time to these communities. So allocating these areas up front out of the state forest estate is going to bring early benefit.
Ms. Bolanat's remarks came during a presentation to the Parliamentary Sectoral Committee on Foreign Relations on Friday. Ms. Bolanat explained that since 2001, the GFC, through a program called the Community Forestry Initiative, focused on allocating forest out of the state forest estate directly to Indigenous communities as well as non-Indigenous communities.
The intention is to allow for equal participation and the level of inclusion and involvement that otherwise would not have been the case had we not had direct allocation to Indigenous communities. To date, we have over 500,000 hectares of forest land allocated directly to communities, and we continue to see Indigenous peoples benefit from both title lands allocation as well as state forest allocation.
And this, she says, continues to derive many benefits, but added that titled lands should not be the only allocation that Indigenous peoples of Guyana are or should be able to take advantage of
at some point in time to these communities. So allocating these areas up front out of the state forest estate is going to bring early benefit. And we see some of this, for example, in communities like Batavia and Rivers View, whereby previously allocated state forest lands eventually become title lands. And at that point, then we relinquish our control and management of those areas. But until such time, access is allowed and guaranteed through the management framework of the GFC.
Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Kristen Macklingam.